So at the back end of 2022, the internet went into a mini meltdown over Eufy security issues. So where exactly do we stand now? Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video on Bite of Geek. Today I'm just going to do a quick review of where we're up to with Eufy and the security issues. Obviously I've got a couple of videos on the channel that have been highlighting some of these, as a lot of other channels that deal with tech in general, and I thought it'd be a good idea. You know, people have been commenting on those videos, you know, what's the current situation, things like that. So I thought it'd be good if we just took a bit of a pause and just look at where we're up to at the moment. So you know, if you haven't seen those videos, you know, there's a few of them on the channel, but basically the situation was at the end of 2022, Paul Moore, a security researcher, had pointed out some flaws with security on Eufy products, and yeah, you know, this massively picked up by the media and YouTube, and you know, lots of discussion around this about, you know, really questioning Eufy's overall security position with regards to their products. Now, you know, a number of things were highlighted in that. You know, I go through some of those on this video if you want to have a look at that on the channel. But basically, you know, Eufy has come out now. You know, they've been looking at all of this, and they've taken on board all the comments that were made, and you know, they've responded to this. You know, it's taken them long enough, but they have responded to it. And basically what they've said is, well, you know, there was a couple of things, a couple of major things really. So I guess probably the biggest one that you know, that kind of like blew this up initially was the fact that your images were being uploaded and you could access those quite easily. And Eufy has responded to this and said, look, you know, it was just this one particular product, you know, it's the Duo doorbell, and in kind of like a bit of an obscure way, you know, they tried to justify why that needed to do that. You know, didn't do it with all these other Eufy products, so you know, this was a bit of an outlier, and really it shouldn't really have done that. So you know, they've explained this, and you know, obviously their response to that in their software is to give you a notification, you know, that you're going to need to upload some data in order for things to be able to function in the way that they expect, and probably as a user you expect as well. You know, bizarrely, other manufacturers already put that into either their T's and C's, you know, their privacy notices and things like that, but Eufy didn't actually have that there. Now, the other one that was kind of like off the back of this, which really, you know, didn't kind of get the, well, it had the traction, but there wasn't enough detail about it, mainly to protect Eufy, I guess, in that regards, was the ability to play footage from cameras via VLC player. Now, Eufy have come out on this and they've gone, okay, hands up, you know, you know, this was a particular problem. The issue around this was to do with the Eufy, kind of like your online portal. So, you know, most people will use the Eufy app to go and view their footage. You know, I've never really used the portal, but I'm sure some people probably even aren't aware that you've got a portal there to go and look at your footage. But basically that was allowing unencrypted viewing of the footage, hence the reason why VLC player could be used, and the only way it was being protected was via user login credentials, which is pretty poor, to be honest. You know, given that everything else was encrypted in such a way that it, you know, it didn't rely upon the user login credentials. So, you know, as I say, big hands up there. You know, they've admitted that was wrong, and they've taken steps to go and correct that. And you know, and notice recently in things like the app, you know, when you're playing footage now, you know, lots of things start coming up with little messages about, you know, unencrypting and decrypting the video footage and things like that. So they're going at great lengths to kind of prove to you that actually your footage is you know, encrypted on your devices and whatnot. So what they've said is that, you know, kind of Homebase 3 and the Eufy 3 and 3C devices from October, I think it was, you know, these were using WebRTC encryption, and everything else now is going to get updated. They say every single device is going to be updated to support that. So, effectively, their encryption is going to be as strong as they originally promised people when they sold them the devices. Bizarrely, when you look at their website, the details about all of this encryption, seems to have been toned down a little bit. I distinctly remember things about military grade encryption and the various levels that they got. This is all being replaced with details about certification now, various standards and things like that. So they've definitely toned things down a little bit. And I think they've been caught out considerably on that one, more so than the actual uploading of the image. This was the big selling point for Eufy, was that your video footage was actually stored encrypted. So that sounds like they've had to kind of really readdress things there. Now, a lot of this, and credit to the Verge here for really stepping out and asking the questions. I'll link the article in the description down below if you want to go and read the full thing. There's kind of like Eufy's standard press response that they've had, and then the Verge have actually gone and asked even more questions of Eufy, and it's a pretty good read. But I'm just going to pick up on a couple of the points that have been highlighted from this. So obviously, massive concerns with the way you can access all this footage. Lots of concern from users that Eufy staff could view the footage available on the devices. Eufy have come out and said flatly, that is just not possible, because of the way the encryption works. So, again, just trying to clarify what is and isn't available there on their devices. I think there's no doubt about it. this whole situation's been quite damaging for Eufy and probably the parent brand Anchor as well. This is a product which came into the marketplace. Eufy was we really look after your security, and we take that at the center of our responsibilities with our products and things like that. And obviously that has proven not to be 100% true. Now they are saying that one of the big things that they're doing is really kind of like a bit of a review over this, and they're bringing in industry experts, looking at new certification, security penetration testing and all that kind of stuff. Probably things that should have been done previously. If they weren't obviously being done very well. So to be saying this now is pretty much after the horse has gone and bolted, really. But one of the other things they're talking about here is kind of like a security bounty program as well. There's not much detail around that, but if you look at how these things work in general within the industry, people for not disclosing details of what they've gone and found, obviously there's a reward for that, and then the manufacturer gets to fix the problem before it is actually released. So hats off to them for something like that. That generally, in the way things work, does tend to harden products, because people are looking for this, these kind of like flaws within products. So hopefully that will go some way to improving the situation for them. But I think one of the big things about this was that within all of the blurb that they came out with, all of this, this is what we're doing and this was what was wrong and all that kind of stuff, was really the notable lack of an apology from Eufy. There was an acknowledgement that things weren't quite right, but there wasn't any real kind of apology and acceptance of responsibility. In my comments on some of the videos, people have been able to get refunds from the likes of Amazon for Eufy products that they bought well over 12 months ago, on the basis of the fact that it just wasn't doing what it had promised to do in the sales information. Eufy have stated that in terms of kind of like refunds and things like that, they will deal with customers on a per customer basis with regards to that. So if you're not happy about the current security situation with Eufy, then it's probably worth discussing with their support team. But where they stand at the moment, I guess, is they've obviously taken steps to go and harden things a little bit. Some of these things were only in relation to some products, but they shouldn't really have been there in the first place, not to the extent that they were. And it's a little bit disappointing, really, and it really has damaged people's trust in the brand. Now, I know a lot of people have said, it's not such a great big fuss and things like that. Some channels have said, look, it is what it is at the end of the day, and others have completely said, we're not going to recommend Eufy products here on in. I've stopped buying any Eufy products in that regards, until I'm happy that they've gone a long enough period where they have repaired that damage, really. They had good products, they had pretty reliable products in my opinion, but the fact of the matter is they basically just lied about what their products did, and they sold a lot of products on the back of that. So situations like that take a long time to go and repair. So that's those things there. What I'm also interested in right now is one of the issues which I highlighted quite a number of months ago now, again another security issue with Eufy products, was the ability that for example, if you had the doorbell, then if somebody took that doorbell from the front of your property and they reset or repaired that doorbell, all of your footage for that doorbell would be wiped from your home base, basically defeating the object of having that home base and the local storage. So I want to see whether they've gone and fixed that as well, because if this is the all new Eufy and we're dealing with these issues that have been raised, this issue has been raised with Eufy for well over 12 months, and when I tried to contact them about this, I certainly got it was falling on deaf ears, and I got no response on that. So let's just have a look and see whether that has actually been sorted. So I've got my doorbell here, and well, if you've watched the previous video, you'll know what I've got to do here. Basically, if this is taken off the front of your house and somebody decides they want to go and wipe out your footage, what you've got to do is hold down the sync button for, I think it was 10 seconds. I think the previous video had gone and said, so we got our first little beep there, and I think that's it. The doorbell is in pairing mode at the moment. So as you can see there, I've repaired the doorbell, reset the doorbell, and the footage is still there. So well done, Eufy. What a way to end the video. It's only taken you probably nearly 2 years to actually go and correct that issue. Yeah, not wanting to take away the fact that you've actually gone and corrected it. It should have been fixed a long time ago, but I'm glad that it actually is, and I'm sure a lot of the users who have got these products will be pleased that that's actually now resolved. So hopefully this is the new Eufy going forward. Eufy being more open, more responsive, listening to the problems that their users are finding, and who knows, maybe they'll redeem themselves in the future. But what do you guys think about this? Obviously, these videos on my channel had a lot of hits on it, lots of chatter and comments about the various issues that have been found. So I'd love to know what you guys think about all of this. Has Eufy's actions gone and changed your mind for the better or worse? Let me know down below in the comments. What do you think overall? Have you moved on now? Have you moved on to another brand? Let me know down below. But if you've enjoyed this video, then don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.